Yay. There we are.
Hi, everybody.
Hello. It's Miss Sophia Rainbows.
And Bamboo Leaf.
And Bamboo Leaf. And Christina from Sandmine Art. And we're here today with a bit of a challenge you guys gave us last week. I'm pretty impressed. We did faces last week, and hopefully you managed to get some really nice pictures for your moms or the mom figures in your life. We have a couple to show you today. And you guys decided that it would be kind of fun to continue drawing the other parts of a person, like the body and hands. Don't worry, bodies will have clothes. I know somebody was very concerned about that.
Yes, yes.
So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to try and draw a character.
Hello.
Hello. We're going to try and draw a character, and I'll show you different ways to do body shapes and hands today. And then we can go off and try to use what we learned for the first part to make our own characters. I think today I'm going to draw one of my own characters, and his name is Dandelion, and he's a little fairy boy, sort of a pixie, and he has a buddy named Leonidas, who's a cat. So I might try and draw those guys today, after I show you how to do some bodies and hands.
And I'm going to be drawing this little cutie. If you guys didn't catch this is Bamboo Leaf. Hello.
This is a little panda I hand knit for Miss Rainbows for Easter, so she's the newest panda edition. Anyway, before I start, I just want to let everybody know, if you haven't seen it already on my Facebook page, I have launched what's called a Patreon account, also under Sandmine Art. And on there, there'll be some neat downloadables like coloring pages, and the worksheets that I put out every week after we do our show will be out there before we do the show, so if you want to catch up on that. So part of that is becoming a member, and so make sure, moms and dads, that if that's something you want to do, it's available. It won't change any format of what we're doing here. We'll still be here live every week on Wednesday, and you'll still get a chance to see the sheets after we're done the session. But it's just another way to have some more tools for all of you young artists out there to have access to them. And if we get enough patrons on there, one of our goals is to try and do little mini tutorials on more of these topics in depth. So if you really want to learn how to draw hands and fingernails and all that kind of stuff, we'll sort of put some more videos in that group later. Anyway, that part finished. Welcome. Let's start drawing. Well, let's see our drawings from last week, and then we'll start drawing some hands and some bodies. I love these two characters. I'm going to guess they're probably characters from a show or anime that I'm not entirely sure I know. So these are really cool. I love them. And I don't know if they were pictures or presents from Mom or not, but they are awesome. So thank you for sharing them. See the faces? Lovely faces. And I already started doing body shapes and hands and stuff. We've got this cool sort of robot claw hand. This guy reminds me a little bit of Albert from...
Albert Lynn from Lost
No, not Albert Lynn. Although Albert Lynn does have a bionic leg. From an anime that I used to watch called... I can't remember, Alchemist, something, Full Metal Alchemist. Reminds me a little bit of him. It's really cool. This is my mom that I drew, and I gave it to her as a card for Mother's Day. We went over and did a social distancing visit where we placed our gift down and walked away and talked over 6 feet apart from each other and said hello. And this is what I got for Mother's Day from Sophia. It's me in the purple shirt with the little weird hair squiggy I've got and my ponytail, which I wear all the time. And I love the heart on the shirt. And Sophia with her pigtail ponytails going on and her turquoise glasses. So this is what Sophia did for me from the portrait class we did last week. So thank you, Sophia.
Welcome.
And there's my blank screen. Getting ready for today. So does everybody have their pencils and their pens? It's looking like a really nice day out today for us here. Hopefully we'll get a chance to go out for a little bit of a walk.
Bamboo Leaf's gonna sit guarding my trivia and facts.
Is Bamboo Leaf going to guard your trivia and facts? Yes. We have some trivia for everybody today. Sophia again did some research, and she has some true and false questions, I believe, right? Am I totally stealing your thunder? And? Ah! Those two characters you saw were Nora, who's Emily, I believe, is her original character she's created. Oh, and she's got two names, Nora and, I'm going to say this wrong, Rabdu? That's cool. And then we've got the humanoid version of an Animal Crossing character. They're really cool. I would love to see some of your Animal Crossing character fashions that you're probably making for your characters on your island in Animal Crossing. That's pretty cool. I love both of them. They're really neat.
If you guys have been here since week 3, April Fool's Day, do you remember there was true or false? I have, instead of did you knows, I have true or false, and I have trivia.
Yeah, she's decided to make it a little bit more interactive for the Did You Knows. So we're going to learn a few things, but we're also going to be playing games while we do it. But first we're going to start off with our sort of lesson part of the art jam so we can learn things together. One of the parts of this particular lesson is drawing a body or body shape. So we'll sort of start with that part. And then we'll go into closer detail in the hands. And bodies, when I'm drawing bodies, especially for cartoon characters, there is a particular shape that I like to use all of the time. And that is called the kidney bean shape. Before I get to that, let me show you what's made of the kidney bean shape. Here we go. So you can use pretty much any shape, and depending on whether your character is really tall and skinny, or maybe has a little extra tummy like I do, or maybe they're short and they're a kid, you can change the body shape or the shape of the bean, as I'm going to call it, to accommodate different body sizes. So here is a bean that can be used. So this is kind of one of the main shapes that I try to use when I'm drawing characters for cartoons especially, is a kidney shaped bean. And part of that is because when you break it down, and I'll use a different color, you can see, this is a 3/4 view, a rib cage, the upper part, and it exaggerates sort of the bend of the back spine, so your spine will go there, and there is your hips, where you could attach other pieces. So that's really what's underneath a kidney bean shape. You can change that shape, keeping in mind that where your rib cages and your hips are going to make sure the motion of your character is balanced. So if you want somebody standing up straight like this, your kidney bean would be a little more like, this is not a very good kidney bean. See? Everybody can, it's okay, I'll fix it up as I go, but it would be sort of more of an oval or a pear shape, and you can change that. So there's the center of gravity, here's the hips and the bottom, and here is that rib cage. So it all sort of comes together. If you think of a skeleton, and these are the two parts that hold it all together, but I usually keep it into the bigger shapes first, and then I can break it down into the smaller shapes as I go. And why is that important? It's because when we start talking about hands, they're going to be pretty difficult to break down, because you want to go to the smaller shapes right away. And why are hands so hard? Hands are probably one of the hardest things, or at least a lot of artists say are the hardest things to draw. It's because we see them every day and we ignore them every day, because I talk with my hands like this all the time. I point with my hands, I draw with my hands, I eat, I tap them on the counter, I do all kinds of things with my hands. So you're very aware of hands, but you don't sit and stare at hands to see how they look. So one of the things that looking at a body shape in the bigger shape, like the bean or the oval, and then breaking it down into rib cage and hip so you can see the movement, will help with the next part, which is hands. So one of the things I could do with this shape, if I want to make it a very tall character, I can start stretching it. If I want to make it a very short character, I can make it a smaller bean. There's all kinds of ways you can manipulate that base, but then you just remember there's two parts to that base, is your hip and your rib cage. Actually, there's lots of animators only use 4 fingers, specifically because you don't often see all of your fingers at once, because there's overlap and it gets too crowded. For like Mickey Mouse only has 4 fingers, or at least used to when he was originally created. He had his thumb and 3 fingers, for the reason that it's just much more, it's easier to see different hand movements where like one finger might be overlapping another and they become one big finger. So yeah, it's a little actual fact about animation. So I'm going to do this guy's body. One of the things that you want to do to remember about your body shape is placing things like shoulders. So I use, in this case, because he's facing forward, I place my shoulders as 2 semicircles. And when you're thinking of your hip, which I'm just going to draw a little line here, our legs sort of come out and side a bit like that too. So I sort of draw this very weird looking shape at first to start connecting the body pieces, body parts of my character. Put 2 straight lines down on either side for legs.
My bamboo leaf is going to be 3/4 view.
And 2 straight lines like that. Bamboo leaf is going to be a 3/4 view. Okay. And if you remember your head, from before, I'm just doing a really quick sketch of the head you would attach where the neck is. And that whole balance thing is happening right through the middle of the face down through the torso. Let's give this guy a t-shirt. And when you're drawing clothes on a character, remember that clothes aren't always skin tight unless you're intending to do that for your character. Always leave a little bit of an overlap, which I'm erasing now, on your character's clothes, and that will give them, make it look more like they're wearing something over top, and follow that body shape that you got. So many of those guys
Our head
shorts.
is like, no, that's way too small.
So his shorts are pretty baggy. I've made them super baggy. And that is the main part, the torso part of the body for your character. And then I add things like I make sure when you're drawing your arms and your legs, if you're using straight lines, taper them. Make them kind of come into a almost triangle near the end. That's where you're going to attach your feet. And this guy's a little
If you
short.
look at bamboo leaf, doesn't really have hands or feet.
That's true, she doesn't.
So I just did little tiny little balls.
Yeah, you use the shapes on your panda, so she's used the shapes on her panda to do the hands.
Her body's like way too big.
That's okay. That's another thing, that when you're drawing your character is proportion, and actually some of Sophia's facts are going to be a little bit about that. But a person, generally speaking, is between 6 to 7 heads tall. So if you have this part of your head is this tall, you should be able to count out 6 or 7 heads. So this guy's pretty short. Because if I did that 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 from head to toe. So this is somebody who's shorter, who might be a younger kid, because they would be a little bit shorter, 3 to 5 heads tall for a kid, for a child. But you can use your head as a measuring tool, as a guide. You can use the arms as a bit of a measuring tool. Arms usually come to just above the thigh. And as you're going to learn in one of Sophia's trivia, I don't want to spoil the answer, your arms and can be used to measure different parts of your body. So you can use that knowledge to apply to your figure, to your character. So I've just drawn little balls for hands, little round circles for hands.
Long.
This is really big belly for Bamboo Leaf. She's so cute. That's okay. We're learning and practicing together on this.
She's kind of gonna be my like practice sketch. Then I'm gonna do one of my imaginary characters. Her name is Flames, as my actual.
Draw this silly little face on here so you can sort of see his face. So this is not Dandelion. This is just me sketching and doodling to sort of show you placement to help you think about your character when you're designing your character.
Yeah, that is really big for me.
So this is just
My attempt at a kidney bean.
that's not a bad kidney bean. So what I'm going to do here, I'll keep the figure on the screen for a little bit longer. The kidney bean I'm going to put in blue so you can sort of see what I started with. It was right about there. And I've added a few parts. This is what used to be there to get me the body shape.
I saw you found your black chameleon pen.
I did find my black chameleon pen.
Where was it?
And you can alter this main part to be whatever shape you'd like. And when I'm drawing my character today, you'll see me do a 3/4 view, like we did with the face here. I think my character will end up having a 3/4 body, which is sort of that shape I did at the beginning, that kidney bean shape at the beginning. And I'm kind of realizing, sorry, I'm probably muttering a little bit of that. So if I wanted to draw this guy hands, so I want to ask myself a couple questions. What is he doing with his hands? Is he just holding them to his side? Is he got them in fists? Is he pointing to somebody? Is he doing a victory pose? And I think about that shape. And so one of the things I'm going to show you today is just drawing a basic hand. And if you want to get really good at hands, one of the things you can do is watch people typing, people riding their bike, scratching their head, whatever. Just watch it, observe it, look at it, see how they do that, and it'll give you more, I guess, what is the term that you want to sort of more imagination bank information, things that you can store in the back of your mind. Start watching and observing how people use their hands and what looks comfortable and what doesn't look comfortable for hands, and you'll start getting an idea of how to pose them.
Like yourself,
So what you can do is, for a hand,
like
start.
it's really big belly.
There's a big belly. He's cute though. She's cute though. You can start with kind of a circle or triangle shape. I'm going to do this really close up and do one hand. So as we've been learning over the last couple of weeks, always start with the basic shape. Start breaking it down into really big shapes, and then we'll start moving into the smaller shapes. So if I wanted my hand to just be, I'm going to give you a high five. Let's do fingers closed. I would think of my hand in a shape of a triangle on the top that attaches to this palm part.
Yeah, so that's my attempt at a pen.
Hello! Welcome aboard!
This is my attempt at a panda.
And a little shortcut for everybody trying to draw a hand is your palm and your tall man, or your tallest finger, are almost exactly the same length. So sometimes what I find is when you're starting out wanting to draw a hand, you draw really long fingers. And that's okay if your character is exaggerated and you want to have like wicked talons or something for fingers. You can do that. But if you want to look more like what you'd expect to see from a hand, so that you recognize it instantly as a hand, then think about the fact that the tallest finger on your hand is the same size as your palm. We are doing fine. How are you guys doing? That's actually not how I would draw a thumb. Sorry guys, let me redo that.
Yeah, we have, just to catch some people up, we have true or false stuff back from like week 3.
Yes,
I decided to do
fun doing true or false stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just do sort of a cylinder, or almost like an oval on the side for the thumb, and that would be my thumb like that. I always start off with as many basic simple shapes as I can, and then we get into the really tough stuff and break it down into the smaller shapes.
Hold on, I'm catching up with hands here.
Okay, so with this hand, sort of what Laura and Emily there mentioned is that sometimes you draw characters with 4 fingers because it's easier. And a lot of animators or cartoonists will do that, because crowning in 5 fingers, or your thumb in 4 fingers, can actually take up a lot of space and not be as expressive, so you can't see the hand talking. And really, if I started going around doing this and talking like this, people might not notice right away, because I've got my 3 fingers. It might not look that weird right away, but eventually your brain will go, oh, that's not quite right. We seem to be much more forgiving when we're looking at a cartoon, because we're sort of expecting that, but when you're seeing a still portrait or a still cartoon image, sometimes people start counting the fingers. It's kind of funny. So what I do is I try to find where the fingers are touching each other. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 fingers touching each other, and I find those lines, and they look pretty stale. They're not really flexible. They're not really doing much of anything right at the moment.
I want to make my actual one Flames here.
Okay.
It's one of my imaginary characters. I want to have her with 4 fingers.
Okay, that's just fine. If you want to do 4 fingers instead of 5, because that's sort of more of a cartoon expressive way, you can do that. Absolutely. And so once I
have the facts and trivia that I wanted.
Okay, we'll get there in just a sec. We'll start asking that question once we get into drawing our own characters. I'm just going to show friends about another cool thing about drawing hands. If you want to get into detail of knuckles and how those look, each finger is made up of 3 segments. So you could break each finger down into 3 ovals on top of one another. And that can help you if you want to change the shape of your hand. So instead of being like that, you want to bend them. Now you can really only see one oval folded over on top of the other oval, which kind of looks odd unless I'm trying to give you the letter E inside, on the side. I'm holding my pen. But it can help you break it down for poses later, and always taper. Again, not super pointy at the top, but taper them down into sort of rounder figures. And if you want to find where those lines are, follow the line of your palm and try to bring it across like that, so it'll start helping divide those figures. I kind of cheated by making my own. And that can help you find where you're going to get your separation of your fingers. And the thumb also has a divide, but it only has one because the third part is actually part of your palm.
Yeah, that's how you get posable thumbs.
So you can stretch it and oppose your fingers and stretch across. So that's where the third one is hiding. It's already in the palm. So when you're finishing your picture, you might put a little line just to represent that muscle. And I would erase and leave just a little bit of overlap on where that palm is to see where your fingers attach. So if I wanted to turn this finger, this pose, into a thumbs up without even looking at my hand to see how I would do that. Actually, maybe I'll do a victory sign. I'll do a victory sign. I just did that so consciously on my thing. I would then think, well, always think of your base of your hand as a mitten first. And then you can start finding out. So even if you spread it out like that, I would draw the shape of a fan, which I'll do quickly. And in that case, because the fan spreads out, I draw a pentagon as my base. And then I would think of that fan spreading out like that. 1 finger, 2 fingers, 3 fingers, 4 fingers. And then I'd start drawing like that, and then your thumb, which is just there. So that's sort of how I do a spread. That said, I was going to turn, that was done really quickly, sorry guys. But if I'm just going to turn this into peace sign on this, given the victory pose, I would remember I have 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and these guys would roll up. So I turn my pinky down and just show the tip of those fingers. Keep that guy in place, and then this would sort of give out here. So keep that guy in place and turn that finger. Oh, look at me stretching that. Turn that finger out like that to give the V for victory. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Still there.
I can't do that with one of my hands. It hurts.
So it sort of gives you that victory stretch. And there is a space between your fingers. If you have, I have a little bit of a web. Some people might have a more accentuated web between their fingers. I have a wee bit of a web. And some people might just have flatter there, but that there is a space between your fingers, and they're not side by side in that particular example. Yeah. Or maybe I'd even fold my thumb over.
Sadly, I can't do.
You can't do.
I can't do
victory or
a victory, like a victory sign as it shows there with one of my hands. It hurts really badly. So what I do is I put up my ring finger instead of my pointer.
Because it is kind of interesting. So like again, this. You can sort of still see some of those 3 segments, but you can hide some of them too. If I had, and if I wanted to do this, my pinky might be not as dominant as my other finger, so maybe part of it gets hidden. So it's just about starting with the big shapes and then breaking them down into segments is how you can get a fairly good hand shape and fingers. And just part of it is practicing and seeing what other people do with their hands and the different types of hands that are out there. Because I have like if you wanted to show somebody who was a little kid who had pretty pudgy grabby hands, then you can totally do that with drawing shorter fingers that are just, in this case, I'll do that 4-finger that we're so used to seeing as cartoons. That's a fun exercise to do too, by the way, is check out your favorite cartoons and see which ones actually have all 5 fingers. If I really did want to add the fifth finger, I'd add it there. So see, that can make it a little crowded. And that's why some cartoonists, so they can get more of those expressions, like my hand is really far out, or I'm picking up things, that's why they sometimes do 4. So Sophia's already started with her figure. She's doing Flames, who is a character she's created from her mind and is based off of Minecraft.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
her hair is
fire,
basically
obviously.
Her hair basically is on fire. Her head kind of has her hair has that look of being like on fire.
And if she wants to, she can start anytime and start our trivia up. If you'd like to play some trivia while we're drawing, I am going to, meanwhile, as she's doing trivia, start putting what I just showed you into a picture of my own. And I'm going to show you me drawing Dandelion, who is, well, by his name as it suggests, is a little fairy guy who is based off of the dandelion.
I can't get into the camera.
You can't get into the camera? We'll just move you over a little bit. Now you can lean into the camera.
How do I move this thing? Oh, like that. Okay.
She wants to be in the camera to ask her questions. So there she goes. She's already well on her way.
How many bones are in the human body? A, 206. B, 115. Or C, 150.
How many bones are in the human body? Does anybody know this? Parents might be having flashbacks to their gym classes or their health lessons. I certainly was when I heard this question the first time. I think he's going to be looking up just a little bit. And this is body. This is how we're going to do his body. There's that bean-like shape I'm going to start with. So do we have any answers as to how many bones are in the human body? Can you read the things again?
A, 206. B, 115. C, 150.
You see me putting in his shoulders. He's going to have sort of a defiant stance because that is this guy. So yes. I think that we got a guess for the first one. Someone is guessing B or C. I guessed A. Actually A. Okay. A. So what's the answer, Sophia?
There are 206 bones in the adult body, 270 in the child body. The child body has 270 bones because some bones fuse together when a kid is turned into an adult, or when you stop growing as much.
Yes. So isn't that kind of crazy? 270 bones. Some of you might still have 270 bones. Babies definitely have a lot of...
Babies can usually have around 300 bones. It's what I read. It's not in here, but I read that.
See, babies have a lot of bones as well, because I know that babies have different parts of their skull that don't grow together into a skull until they're older. That's to help as you grow and your bones grow. They can help you out with that. That is cool. 206 for the human adult.
How much faster is a fingernail growth than toenail growth?
Fingernail growth to toenail growth. How much faster is it? Okay, let's hear what your options are. Do you have options?
Yes.
Okay.
A, all of my questions have options.
Excellent.
A, 2 times faster. B, 4 times faster. C, 6 times faster.
You don't lose bones. Your bones actually, in that particular example, grow together. So your skull actually has, when you're a baby, 6 different bones. It doesn't actually, it's not all the big round dome that we imagine a skull to be until you're older. And it's so that the baby's head can be a little bit more flexible. And then when you grow, you would have your skull sort of starts to fuse together to become one bone. So that's how we start to lose bones. It's not so much that they've disappeared; it's just they've merged with other bones to grow into one bone. Toenails don't grow that fast. That sounds like there's a story there. Do we have an answer for 2 times, or is that number 2?
2 maybe? B, or 2 times faster.
It's either 2 times faster or 4 times faster, that number 2 that I see there in the comments from Laura. We have a 6 times guess.
No, 2.
No, 2?
2. 2,
Okay.
2, 2. That's 2 times, right? This is very confusing.
It is very confusing when you have a number of things. You can see me use all my parts we did yesterday, or last week too. So the answer B, okay. So 4 times faster. So the actual answer is...
Answer. Fingernail growth is 4 times faster than toenail growth. B was the correct answer.
B was the correct answer. So 4 times faster, fingernails versus toenails. He's got a really cute nose thing, and then...
The next one. From your wrist to your elbow is the length of what? From your wrist to your elbow is the length of...
I can't even fit that
what
on the screen.
piece of your body?
There, from my watch band to my elbow.
Here to here. It's the length of what piece of your body?
Oh no! I don't have a pinky toe because a pinky toenail, very big pinky toenail because of that. Yeah. Not because of running and getting caught. But I did stub my toe on something.
From your wrist to your elbow.
Yes.
Is the length of what piece of your body? A, your entire body from head to toes, your head, or your foot?
Your foot was said with authority. I can't tell if it was said with authority in the comments, but it felt like it was. Sophia's adding the fire color to her character, which you can't see, you just see her butt. I mean her back. She's scooting away. Come back to us. Whoa. Okay, so foot. We have a lot of foots in the comments. Feet, foots. Woo! I need to sleep a little more.
That's not exactly good grammar.
That's not exactly good grammar. It's not, it's true. So the answer is...
Your foot. Yeah.
Your foot, yeah, everybody's got that.
Your foot.
In fact, you probably could take your arm right there and go, well, it's not as big as my body. You could put your face there.
Yeah, but it fits perfectly.
It does fit your foot perfectly. If you could sit your foot between the crook of your elbow and your...
Your arm span, so your arm stretched out like that, is the length... Is which length? A, your entire body from head to toe.
I would say this camera that way.
Your head or your foot.
I'm getting distracted from my telling of my story here. I'm going to move him over here because you want to know what he's looking at, I'm sure. So yeah, arm span. What from your fingertips to your fingertips, stretched out, is the same size. That's a very big head. From fingertips to fingertips on both hands, stretched out. How big is that? This one I think is a little easier for fun.
Yeah.
And let's get his cool.
I have a world in Minecraft basically dedicated to my Minecraft related characters. So once this is over, I'm getting a special server login and then hopping onto that world to build flames.
Well, after we have a walk, we're walking first. We're going to enjoy the outdoors, even if it's a little bit, might be a little chilly. So we have height. Yeah, guys, that's the right answer. I'm going to say that right now. That's the right answer. Height is the right answer. Correct.
Well, I said
within. Sometimes there's a little margin of error, especially if you're a kid.
From like I said from head to toes.
Head to toes, yeah. She does have 100 worlds actually. She has hit 100.
I have exactly 100 Minecraft worlds right now.
She has hit 100 officially. So, as you can probably see a little bit as I'm drawing, why this guy is called Dandelion. His hair is kind of like a big giant dandelion.
And then how tall are you in the morning compared to the night? This is the tough one with like 5 answers. A lot taller. B, the same. C, a lot shorter. D, a little shorter. And E, a little taller.
I think I have 4 worlds. That's cool that you've written a story about your characters. Sophia loves to write stories about her characters too. She does sort of goes back and forth between Minecraft creation and writing stories.
I have one world.
So how much taller or shorter? Are you taller, shorter, or the same when you wake up?
Are you a lot taller?
A lot taller.
A lot taller. B, the same. C, a lot shorter. D, a little shorter. E, a little taller.
We have an answer of E, a little taller. I think I might have accidentally stretched my screen over here. It's okay. A little shorter, your mom says. And you say the same. When you wake up, first thing in the morning when you wake up. That is what the question is, when you wake up. Stories are pretty awesome because you can have it a little bit dark. You can work out emotions and feelings and thoughts really well by writing it down in a story. I love writing, and it's really cool that you do that. I think Sophia's got a few interesting, sinister tales as well. A little taller when you wake up, a little shorter at the end of the day. I like that we're going into this detail.
Are we ready for the answer?
I'm ready for the answer.
The answer is you are a little taller in the morning compared to the night. Yes, you do get smaller, like a teensy bit smaller at night than in the morning.
I don't quite have his little pixie grin here very well. That's okay. Everybody's being gentle to themselves, including me.
Yeah.
And being kind to their creations. So I always do something with pencil that I can have very light to look at, and I might even do a sketch 5 or 6 times over top of one another piece just to determine where things are going and what I need to add. So we got the answer right. We just said the answer is a little taller. You're right. Do you have any more? Do you have any more?
No more trivia, but I do have the true or false. Are we ready?
Actually, I might just put this hand up because you want to see a hand.
I know this has been a while. So what you guys are going to do, I'm going to tell you 3 facts. One of those facts is false. It's not true. And you've got to guess which one it is. Are we ready?
Sure. I'm ready. I don't know if everybody else is ready.
A. Humans have the worst hearing out of any mammal.
What?
B. Eyelashes last about 150 days. C. Sneezing blows air out of your nose at 100 miles per hour. Which one is false?
Only one of those statements is false. Which one is it? I thought I was going to do Dandelion. Dandelion is not cooperating very well for me. He's a bit of a wild guy. So he's sort of... Sometimes, as weird as this sounds, when I'm drawing or creating a character, they don't want to do what I want them to do. C is false. My mom thinks A. And we have a question for, if we have a 1 is false. First one is false. So sometimes I get characters when I'm trying to draw them that just don't want to be drawn. So I have to push through it. To try hard. Push harder. I think his chin is a little too long. He's not quite in his head. I'm going to take his head off right now. This is part of... I would erase this if I were in my sketchbook completely and change it. I just think his head's in the wrong spot. I'm having a day where I can't stop. Touching my chin. So, what is it? What is the false statement?
The false statement. Are we ready? It is A or 1. Humans have the worst hearing out of any mammal. We do have bad hearing compared to everything else, to more mammals, but we don't have the worst.
One of the things that we asked her after she did her research is what was the animal that had the worst hearing, and we can't find anything that's conclusive as to what animal has the worst.
We looked up the worst, like the worst hearing of mammals. We got animals. No, like the one that was the worst hearing isn't even a mammal.
So what was it? What's the animal that has the worst hearing? Yeah, he's got more of a pixie, more of a boyish, round And his nose is
I don't remember.
Sophie doesn't remember. That's okay. You don't have to remember.
So that's everything that I have.
Yeah.
I have some more facts that are true that I didn't use for the true or false because I got like 5 true facts, so I left 3 out. Are we ready?
You gonna do your facts?
The strongest muscle in your body is your butt. Yes?
Your strongest muscle is your gluteus maximus, aka your butt.
Many more boys are colorblind than girls.
Which is funny.
Your blood has the same amount of salt in it as the oceans.
Wait, of all the oceans combined? Do you have as much salt in your blood as all of the oceans combined right now? Is that what that fact means?
I don't know, I just...
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
Humans are the only things that cry to show they are upset.
With tears.
Mm-hmm.
So, there is supposed to be a big giant cat face here. It's going to be a big giant cat face. There you go. The tongue is a pretty strong muscle. But our butts, our glutes actually propel us and move us forward. I am going to have to try and check on that tongue though, because I think I heard that as well. But what was your source, Miss Sophia? Do you remember?
Amazing body facts.
From? Thinking. It was science something or other?
I still have it open on my computer.
She's gonna go double check.
Like, it's right here. Can still hear me.
Yep. I know. That's giving him more of a... That's not quite the way I like that.
Oh,
I haven't painted or drawn dandelion in a while. I have a big giant canvas that has dandelion riding Leonidas into the dandelion patch. So that's if you're looking at the interweb, the internets. Have you checked the internets? That's a reference for some people that's very, very old. Some people might get it, some people might not.
Come on. Turn on. There.
Probably put his cat's forehead here and his nose there. Yeah, so this little fairy guy has got this story that I have between he and his friend, the cat. They sort of met each other when they were very small and have become very fast friends, and they defend dandelions on people's lawns.
ScienceBob.com.
ScienceBob.com. So this is my whole idea of putting he would have his sword belt, and because he's there, you'd have it right about there. He's got a little sword belt with the loop, and he'd probably have his sword in his hand because he doesn't like, it's just a twig. He's just got a little twig that he's made a sword. And this is dandelion. So I have all of these paintings I did of fairies based off of flowers and characters, and they're all basically girls. So I had to make one that was a boy, because I like to make sure I've got the balance there. So Miss Sophia, why don't you show us up close your lovely picture of flames and show us how you've worked on...
I had one that I didn't put in. This is a true one. Bones are 4 times stronger than concrete.
That is pretty crazy. It would take a lot to break a bone. Has anybody ever broken a bone before? I have. My finger. Oh, my toe and my finger. So small ones. See, I'm using my 1, 2, 3 rule. You'd see his finger. Let's see one of those on the thumb. But you wouldn't see too many other fingers because it would be blocked by the cat, which is not in yet. I'll have to finish this one.
You have 5 minutes to do.
Yeah.
And then this bamboo leaf. So this is bamboo leaf, my attempt at a baby panda.
Ooh. Amphibious. Wow. Of course you walk and then you realize just how much that would be inconvenient and painful.
I can't show her up close because I don't know how to angle the camera.
No, you don't need there. Try that. There you go. There is Flames. Ooh, she looks like has like some Charizard wings in the back there. She's really cool. I love her.
They're actually grass wings, except they're
they're
grass wings covered in lava.
Grass wings covered in lava. We love Minecraft here so much that when Sophia was asked to do an assignment for school recently, she built the entire project out of Minecraft and we filmed it. We took a video of it and we posted it on our school. So it was really kind of cool. That's how crazy we are into Minecraft. As I'm sure some people are very crazy into Pokemon and Animal Crossing and stuff.
Yeah.
But when she says she has 100 worlds, that's just
so yeah, there you go.
And he is sort of barefoot. Who's this wild child, barefoot wild child? He is.
And bamboo leaf.
I am, before we totally take off, I'm going to give you one tip about legs. When you're drawing legs, if you're trying to go for more realism, there are 2 parts to a leg.
Yeah, I have my own trick as well with legs.
And they all sort of taper towards each joint part. So your knee, and like that. So that would be a leg. That would be an easy way to do a leg. It's just a
so I have my pen.
Tube and then a tapered tube and then your foot.
This is what I do for my legs. I did it. If you saw Flames' leg is kind of like, you see here, tilted, kind of like in a triangle shape here. If you look back at here, what I do is I do a sideways triangle like this. It's thick for you guys. Then instead of another sideways triangle, I do the same thing, only curved a little tiny bit at the point.
I'll have to probably transform him, because remember how I used to tell you, check to make sure you've got room? Like, I went a little crazy off the board. There we go.
Yes, so
that's how you do your legs?
This is how I do my curved legs, like if somebody's running or they're just posing up against just a wall and they kind of have their legs like this. I do the bend, which is up here. See my knee here? I do the bend, how I showed you right here on the page.
You're making people, showing people motion sickness over there.
What?
Moving the
I'm
camera.
terrible with using the camera.
No, you're not terrible.
Then I'd add the little foot. I'd add my foot on. There.
So this is just me using the body shape we started off with I'll show you that shape again before we take off for the day. Like we learned last week, here's the circle for the head and the triangle for his pose. Here's the bean that we talked about this week, just to start me off with the body. Again, rib cage is about there, and hips are just about there.
Just sketching like
And then hands, I have his hand, which I'm starting to do a little close up. I've decided is going to be this shape because he's gripping something, and then I found what fingers are showing. My pen is too thick. Let me go in there. So here's his hand, and I'll do a little skinnier pen here. Drawing my shape of my thing. A bigger rectangle, and then little rectangle where the hands can disappear. So just find a couple of fingers that might be showing.
my little sketch over here is just me. I'm trying to make like
And same thing here, you just don't see all of it here. Sophie's doing her sketch here.
I'm doing a high heel robot.
And of course the thumb is going to be on this side, so I've made the thumb there. And the hand is going to be spread to pet the cat. So there's only that much of the hand showing. So there you go. There's the plot points of my picture that I started with, but then continue drawing with my pencil to find the lines of where arms are and legs are and other such stuff. So that's kind of taking us back to the beginning when we talked about how to do body shapes. And I really like to have Dandelion is a little boy, or he sort of has boyish figure, and so I try to keep him a little shorter, and so you might see his head proportion one sort of in a weird position here. 2, 4. He's about 5 heads tall. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Because he's a little shorter and he's got that sort of elvish kid view to him. So there you go. Let's swap over. Are you ready, Sophia?
I said I like doing the ending on both cameras.
Oh yeah, we're going to do the ending on both cameras. That's just fine. So want to look in your camera here? Look up in your camera. There she is. So thanks for joining us this week. And oh hey, we haven't done something yet. I thought we could probably do Pikachu next week, or one of the Pokemon. Do you guys have any other suggestions that you want to try and do? Let's sort of talk about that for about 30 seconds. Anybody have any suggestions? I have a lot of suggestions that you guys have made in previous weeks that we can fall back on. So if there aren't any suggestions just yet, we'll go look at over some of the ones that you guys have made, and we'll come up with something. Well, what is this that you're making? This three-eyed, or is that an eye? Is that an eye?
No, it's a robot.
Oh, it's your robot.
Those are the ways to see it.
That is so cool. It's got some very human characteristics, your robot.
It's a giant robot. It's made to look like a person.
It's a giant robot made to look like a person. All right. Sorry, I got distracted by Sophia's picture. So we'll say goodbye to you guys now. Thank you for joining us. And we will have a topic up in the next day or two, picked off of some of the suggestions that you guys have made. Maybe we'll go back to drawing some fun animals or some of the Pokemon, we'll see what we've got on our list. Thanks so much for joining us, and remember to stay safe and keep doing your creative thing. And when you have a picture that you want to share with us, please do on Sam and Ann Art. Your parents can send us a message, or when you see the album come up, you can also comment on that. That's probably the easiest way to do it. I still check the hashtag #DrawWithSamIan to see if I can find any of your creations. So you can also do that if it's public. So thanks again for joining us, and we will see you guys next week, same time.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Remember to like and subscribe.